Have you ever met someone who seemed so innocent, so kind, so gentle and harmless that turned out to be a sick, twisted, possibly sadistic villain? Yes, no, maybe so? Well, you will today, because this beautiful holiday season, I decided to rewatch a Christmas classic, Home Alone. And while I was watching this movie, Home Alone, I realized something. Kevin just might be a developing psychopath, and a sadistic one, and I'm going to talk about it. So here's why I believe that Kevin McCallister from Home Alone just may be developing into a psychopath. Now, of course, we need to start with the definition of psychopath. A psychopath doesn't exactly have a set definition, but basically, it means you're fucking crazy. I'm kidding, psychopaths, if you're out there. Then again, maybe you don't feel anything from that comment at all. In which case, I'll be carrying on. But yeah, the main defining characteristics of a psychopath include things such as being manipulative, unemotional, lack of fear, etika. I know it's pronounced etc., okay? But going forward on this channel, it's etika. Now let's discuss the definition of a sadist. This one's a little more simple. A sadist is someone who gets pleasure from causing pain to others. Alright, everybody caught up? Good. Now we'll discuss why this child is a sadistic psychopath who gets no more pleasure from anything else in the world other than torturing human beings in the most creatively non-lethal ways he can. Bars. Now let's start with the first Home Alone. Now, first thing I want to point out is that Kevin's family are a bunch of fucking grade A pricks, alright? I don't blame him for becoming the monster he does. I mean, if I was getting constantly tormented to the point of losing my shit, and then getting in shit for losing my shit, that I only lost because I was being treated like shit, I would be pretty mad too. But this is also important to my theory here, because, well, a psychopath is developed from two things. The first being genetics, and the second being the environment in which that potential psychopath is raised. With the main things that impact a child developing psychopathy being neglect, abuse, okay, I mean, granted, he doesn't get his ass whooped to my knowledge, but his whole family shits on him a lot, especially this asshole. And rejection. Yeah. Sounds kind of like Kevin. Anyways, we continue. So you guys know the story already, but if you need a super short summary, Kevin gets left home alone.
No shit, Sherlock!
But yeah, the family goes on a trip and forgets Kevin at home. Which also, by the way, terrible fucking parenting, okay? Let's be real. Like, I can give them a pass for the confusion from the house to the airport, getting in the vans, and they got a big family and whatever, but running out of the van through this whole fucking airport, going through fucking metal detectors, which I know this was the 90s, so TSA wasn't a thing yet, but I'm pretty sure they had metal detectors, but regardless, they ran through the whole ass airport and got on the fucking plane and didn't think to make sure where all the kids were, and then his mom wants to get a fucking feeling that something is wrong. Like, bitch, you watch your whole family antagonize this kid regularly, and you still hop on the Kevin hype train every time and blame him for it. Where the fuck is your feeling then? But anyways, I'm getting off topic. So they forget Kevin at home while they go to Paris, and his neighborhood ends up being the target of some serial burglars. Serial burglars, not serial burglars. Anyways, and the word burglars just always sounds funny to me. Like, it just makes me think of the Hamburglar every time. But honestly, these two may as well be the fucking Hamburglar and fucking Captain Crook, because they're idiots. And our hero, 8-year-old Kevin here, finds out about their attempts to come rob the neighborhood, with his house being the main prize. And instead of doing what any regular 8-year-old child would do and calling the police or getting some type of help, he decides he's got this shit. Yeah, no problem. I'm only 8. I can handle these two grown men breaking into my home in the middle of the night. Why not? Which, by the way, is another sign of psychopathy. Having an overly high sense of confidence. And of course, like we mentioned, no fears. Now, I know Kevin shows a little fear at first, but like I said, it's developing psychopathy, okay? He's getting there. And also, for anyone who wants to bring up the phone lines being out at the start of the movie, the phone line fix-it guys clearly fucking left, okay? Because they fixed the shit. Plus, Kevin orders a whole ass pizza on the phone. But yeah, basically, Kevin decides he's fucking Batman and takes things into his own hands. But I'm gonna be real, bro. Kevin with prep time might just be more of a powerhouse than Batman himself with prep time. This kid is a problem. But speaking of the pizza he ordered, this is where the signs of psychopathy and sadism really start to bleed through. When Kevin decides to traumatize this innocent working pizza boy for nothing but his own entertainment. I mean, this kid came to deliver a pizza, probably one of his last few orders of the night, and he thinks he just got a whole mag dumped on him for no reason at all. On top of that, this little demon left him a tip of 80 cents, all while he laughed in amusement. This scene honestly feels like the scene in Death Note where Light is trying the Death Note for the first time. Minus the laughing. But you know Kevin is just gauging his abilities here. I mean, imagine the hell that would be raised if Kevin had a Death Note. You think Light was bad? Wait till you see what Kevin is capable of. Anyways, yeah. And then, of course, we have the series of absolutely diabolical traps he sets up for the church's chicken two-piece combo that came to rob his house. Now, I do understand him doing whatever he can to defend himself in his home. I mean, these guys are a legitimate threat to a child. But he also could have called the cops, ran to a neighbor's house on another street, or he could have called the cops about the robbery at the neighbor's house as soon as they showed up to his driveway and then ran out the back door. But you know why he didn't do that? Because he couldn't bring himself to turn down the opportunity to brutally inflict pain and torture onto two human beings. I mean, look at these traps, bro. He set a flamethrower up at the front door. I mean, imagine the booty bandits never showed up and Kevin just fell asleep or something, and his mom got home and opened the door and just got her face fried like an omelet. But yeah, I mean, the nail in the step, the Christmas ornaments on the floor, cutting the fucking rope to the treehouse, sending these guys swinging into a brick wall, all while he rubs his hands like fucking Birdman from a distance. I mean, look at him. You can see him getting a rush from this. I mean, at any point, he could have left the house, but he wanted the chase. He wanted the thrill. He wanted to watch the pain in which he created. Why? Because he's a sadistic psychopath. Don't believe me? Alright, let's move on to the second movie. Now, this movie takes place 2 years later when Kevin is now 10 years old. By the way, quick fun fact about psychopaths. Most commonly, psychopathy develops around the ages of 8 or 9 years old. And this movie shows us that Kevin's been moving up in the world of psychopaths. Really finding his rhythm, you know? Getting into his psychopathic lane. Because this time around, he accidentally ends up in New York City all by himself. And guess what? He doesn't give a shit. Bro, if I was 10 and I was in New York City completely alone knowing my family was on the other side of the country, I would be losing my fucking mind. I'm talking like that silent cry where no sound comes out but you look like you're doing 200 in a drop top with no windshield. Laying on the airport bench just rethinking my existence. But Kevin doesn't even fucking flinch. In fact, not only does he not flinch, but he actually gets happy. You know why? Because this kid has zero fears. You know why he has no fears? Because he's a psychopath. Any slight fear he had in the first movie is now completely gone. He goes out into the city alone, gets his own hotel room, and just does whatever the fuck he wants. Not to mention his manipulation, which I haven't even mentioned yet. This kid is a born manipulator. He's out here doing puppy dog eyes and gaslighting the fuck out of any and everybody who even thinks they can question his genius. He has adults letting him shop, get on planes, and stay in hotels alone. You see what I did there? Because alone, because home, okay. We'll just get back to the video.
If you don't shut your fucking mouth, I will kill you.
And he gets away with this all because of his S-tier manipulation tactics. This kid is a born gaslighter. And then we come back to the glizzy gangsters, the wicked weenies, the booty bandits, these two morons. Now this time around, they end up in New York after escaping prison and plan on robbing a toy store. Lucky for the toy store owner, the one and only demon child vigilante, Kevin McCallister, is here to save the day. Now, Kevin here manages to get a picture of them in the process of robbing the store, and also a voice-recorded confession to the crime. And yet, even with that, he decides once again, instead of going to the police, or literally anybody else who isn't fucking 10, he decides, nah, who else could really do this for real? It's gotta be me.
Only I could do it. Who else could have done it and come this far? Would they have kept going? The only one who can create a new world is me.
And the traps he sets up in this movie are a whole different ballgame from the first movie. I mean, before they even get to the real traps, this kid is chucking bricks down at these guys having the time of his life. And as for the traps, I mean, this is clearly attempted murder. There's no other way to put this. They got electrocuted, blown up, burned again, hit with metal pipes, fucking full-on cabinets of tools, got tool bags and cement bags dropped on him. I mean, here he caught a staple gun to his fucking bumhole, bro. Just right in there. I mean, at that point, just go home, bro. And then when Harry here got inside, there was no floor there, so he dropped down an entire story. And speaking of dropping, Kevin ends this cake of pain and misery with a cherry on top when he soaks a rope in kerosene, waits for the booty hole bandits to climb down it to chase him, and sets it on fire, dropping them multiple floors. And then he calls the police. He gets his fucking rocks off to the blood of his enemies, and then he calls the cops. Okay, this kid is evil. If this doesn't scream sadistic psychopath, I don't know what does. And then, of course, you have the theory that Kevin grows up to become John Kramer, also known as Jigsaw from Saw, which honestly makes perfect sense to me. I mean, great at making torturous traps and enjoys watching the pain and torment of others. But yeah, so here we have an 8 to 10-year-old boy slowly break out of his shell of typical human emotion and show his true colors through scheming, manipulating, and nearly murdering people. Now, you're free to disagree here, but I think I'm onto something. Also, if you watch the third movie, and I know it's a whole different kid, but let's not slander Home Alone 3, alright? It's actually pretty enjoyable. They do a pretty good job. And the kid is someone more sadistic than Kevin, but you can clearly see the sadistic, potentially psychopathic child was always a theme here. And then the fourth movie is just terrible, kind of like the fucking Last Diary of a Wimpy Kid movie, when they tried making this kid with the most punchable face in the world the new Kevin. And somehow every kid after this that stars in the next couple Home Alones just gets more and more punchable. So yeah, terrible. But point is, there is a clear theme of sadism that all started with our boy Kevin here. And while he tries ever so tightly to hang on to his child emotions of care and genuineness, all it took was one more Christmas to set him off the rails. Which is why we don't see Kevin home alone again. In fact, he was never truly home alone. Because when you're in Kevin's house, he isn't trapped in there with you. You're trapped in there with him. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what you guys think about Kevin in the Home Alone movies. And let me know, do you guys think that Kevin takes out Batman with prep time? Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like and sub if you enjoyed the video. And I'll see y'all in the next one. Yeah.